So when I started working with Joe, I started January of 2022. Like I said, at that point, I'd been lifting a few days a week anyway. I was running a lot though, because
Yeah.
a big part of my life had been running before that. So I had to dial it down a little bit with the running because running can be counterproductive. If you run long distance, which is what I prefer, you burn a lot of muscle. So it was like kind of listening to Joe's guidance with regard to, how much can I run? Like, how much do I need to lift? To be very specific about intention with lifting. And then the diet, that's a huge part of it. It's like counting your macros being macronutrients, your protein, carbs, and fat, paying attention to that. And just listening to my coach's guidance in terms of, how do I work through the building phase when you're putting more muscle on. And then when you get closer to your competition, when you're starting to cut, which means you're going to try to lose any body fat you have that will then expose all the muscle that you've built over the building phase.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like it's very important to kind of stay in touch with your diet and stuff and your macros and
Yeah.
all that. I'm just
Yeah.
learning about the macros.
Okay. I would say that the diet can be challenging. I think it depends. You have to, if you really want to pursue this type of hobby, and quite honestly, for many of us, I mean, it's a passion, but it is a hobby. I mean, there are people that get paid to do it at the pro level, but even then, I mean, I don't know that it's a full lifestyle unless you have, a full job, unless you have a bunch of sponsors and things like that too. You have to be really dialed in and be willing to sacrifice, and it can be tough, especially when you're trying to still stay connected to friends and family. And you're not able to eat the same things that they do, skipping out on like dinners out, or, really having to plan ahead to make sure that you could go to a place and find something to eat that will work with your diet.
So you're a mom, right? You're a mom, and
No, mom, just I have two dogs. You probably heard one of them barking. I tried to remove myself, but it's still, you're going to hear a little bit. No children, just the pets. Obviously for people who have kids, this is an extra challenge because they have to take
yeah,
care of their children, all of their needs, cook their food, and then also make sure that they're doing what they need to do to get ready for
yeah,
competition.
yeah. So we got I guess all the rage George. I hate this thing. All the rage George page just dropping by to say hello. How you doing, George? George
Hey,
also make
George.
content on women bodybuilding and stuff like that. Yeah, it's very interesting that I seen your Instagram, and you also do running and all that stuff. You do a lot of
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I noticed you
I
you
do a
you
lot of
like
stuff.
like you like you do like a blowtorch or something like that. Like, yeah, I seen you
Well,
do.
yeah, that's so I am an obstacle course racer and a runner. I mean, obviously there's running in obstacle course racing, but there's also a need to be able to complete certain obstacles. So the flame throwing was at a race. One of my favorite races actually called Warex. It happens every June in Ohio. It's just a different type of race. There's lots of obstacles, but they also give you opportunities to shoot an AR-15, safely, and used a flamethrower. So I had to take advantage of those things. Proud to say I hit the target with the AR-15, both shots, and had fun with the flamethrower. But there was a lot of running and other obstacles involved in that race too. And it was a 2-day event, but there's 3 races in that 2-day time period. Um,
So,
but I love it. I got more into running because of obstacle course racing. I started doing that in 2013. I really enjoyed it. I needed to get better at running so I could do better in the races. So I started running more, and then I realized I enjoyed running. So became more of like a trail runner, and doing a lot of distance races. And yeah, I still love it. I still do it. I have some races this summer. I have a 50K essentially trail run in August that I'm looking forward to. But it's a delicate balance to train for racing and to train for bodybuilding. They don't go hand in hand. So I have to walk a very fine line. And I wouldn't race too close to my competition because I really don't want to burn more muscle at that time.
how do you? Yeah, like I was about to ask you, like you incorporate. bodybuilding with the running and stuff, with the marathon running, and that I know that's not very easy. It's it's like
No.
I don't know where you from, but I'm in New York City, and they do the marathon like all the with the
Yeah.
five goals and all that stuff, and I could just
Yeah.
imagine. I've done running before. I've run like at the park, and even like where I'm at, they have races and stuff like that. People running. They have like little championships where people like they could sign in and they could compete and stuff like they
Sure.
like I would say like around in the summer, like around like maybe
Yeah.
July and stuff. Yeah.
So I'm in the Philly area, so in the suburbs, but I'm like 20, 25 minutes from Philadelphia, the city. And
Right.
I've run the Philly Marathon. Actually, that was the one I ran in November of 21. I've also run the Marine Corps Marathon down in the DC, Virginia area, which is my favorite. And it is not easy to run and be a bodybuilder. I could not run a marathon and train for a competition in the same year. I'd have to pick for the marathon, it would require its whole separate training program. What I'm doing are shorter distances. Now, granted, I did just say I'm doing a 50K, but that's over the course of 2 days. So I'm not running the 50K in one day. So there'll be some rest in between. I adjust my macros to account for all the outputs, and then train really hard up to that point, still with the lifting and such. And then when it's over, it's in August. I'm not going to compete again until November, so I still have a few months to add some muscle still, and hopefully I don't burn too much muscle with the running. That's, like I said, a delicate balance that I'm still trying to work out. But I love both sports, so it's been really hard for me to just choose one over the other.
Yeah. Like getting back to the bodybuilding, like your OCB, right?
OCB, so that's the
Yeah.
Organization of Competitive Bodybuilders. It is all natural.
Yeah.
That's my choice. I no judgment on anyone who chooses to compete and supplement. But for me, I want to see what I can do on my own without supplementation. And um, my coach, as I mentioned, he's a pro with OCB. He's been around for quite a while and well known in that organization. And so far, I've only competed in local competitions, but I'm open to doing a little traveling. It's just an extra cost because this sport is expensive, like most sports. There's quite an expense to it. So you have to pick and choose what you can afford to take on.
Right. Well, I could show some pictures. Won't you?
Sure. Yeah, that's at my last competition in November. My first time doing wellness.
Yeah. Do you want to just stay in wellness, or you want to move up a little bit to maybe like
Um,
fit, or what you? I
I
don't know if you're
think,
not
I mean,
really. No, I was
I'm
just
not
saying.
so.
No,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I am a fairly small person. I'm only 5'2", and right now I'm at a heavyweight for me because
Right.
I'm in a building phase, and that heavyweight is 121 pounds, 122, which may not seem like much, but when I compete, and those photos you're showing now, I'm 110 pounds, 112, something like that. So um, I don't know that I could build the muscle necessary for figure, which is the next division up. The reason I've competed recently in wellness and I'm planning to kind of stick with it is that I'm I've got a very muscular lower body, and that is what they're looking for in wellness. So, what I'm tasked to do, as you can probably see with my legs, um, I'm tasked to do is to get, my legs to be a little bit bigger, my glutes especially to get a little bit bigger, and then shoulders as well. And this time around, between my last competition and up to today, I physically can feel the difference in my body. I can see it and I can feel it. Now you can't see all the definition right now. It's there, but it's not popping as much because again, I'm in a building phase. Um, oh, that's actually at the Arnold, which happens every year, the Arnold events, which is like a 3-day event out in Ohio in Columbus. And I actually was Angel Competition Bikinis. They make the bikinis, or they're one of the companies that make bikinis for women competitors, and they do fashion shows to show their suits and such, but also to encourage women to take chances and do different things, and feel empowered and beautiful no matter what size they are, no matter what their interests are. So I was actually one of the people in the fashion show, excuse me, in 2023. That was March of 23. Actually, the poster behind me is on my wall here is from the fashion show as well. Like
Okay.
they gave us all our own individual posters, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
look
me
nice.
recently. Yeah, thank you. So that was like maybe a couple weeks ago, just kind of after doing some work at the gym, like checking
Yeah,
my progress, seeing how my biceps look and my shoulders.
yeah, yeah, you look a little bulky.
Yeah, yeah, it's growing. I'm getting there, and obviously that was me at my competition in November. I competed in open and 35 plus, so I took second in 35 plus, which is great. If I'd gotten first, I would have gotten a pro card. So I'm going to strive for that for next time. And then I took fourth in open. So I have to say I'm happy because I've competed, twice as a bikini competitor and once as wellness. And excuse me, I by chance have placed in every show, which, granted it wasn't first place, and second place was the most recent, but in the other shows I still placed in top five, which, I'm happy for that, especially because my first competition, I only was training for 4 months.